On peut le lancer, ouais. Moi, on aurait pu lancer un copilote, en effet. Ouais. Mais on va, voilà, donc Ivan va faire une présentation sur la partie, sur un autre cas IA. On aime bien, dans le groupe TVH, de présenter les différents cas concrets qu'on fait chez nos clients. Par rapport aux deux précédents cas, on va vous présenter un troisième cas qui est fait par notre division espagnole, qui s'appelle Algorithmia, qui fait partie aussi du groupe TVH, avec Ivan qui est le CTO, donc le directeur technique en fait, d'Algorithmia en Espagne. Et en Espagne, ils sont très avancés aussi sur la partie IA, et on va vous présenter deux cas concrets d'IA que Ivan va vous exposer ici. Donc voilà, donc si jamais vous avez des questions, même au cours de la présentation, où il y a peut-être une incompréhension, n'hésitez pas et on fera la traduction. Ivan, it's okay, we can do it in English.
Okay, so hello, nice to meet you. I'm Ivan, I'm the CTO of Algorithmia. I am from Spain. Okay, do you know Spain? The last one in the revision contest, Spain. Well, I'm here to talk about some real cases with AI. We have worked with a real good customer that you will know, that is Bridgestone. I don't know if you know Bridgestone, the tire company, okay? I remember the first time I was on Bridgestone, the factory in Bilbao. I was talking to them and I said, well, you make wheels. They stared at me and they said, no, we don't make wheels. We make tires. So it's a good beginning with them because, well, it's a nice tip. Well, in order to make a little context in the issue that Bridgestone has, let's present some data, okay? In the last few years, since 2019, okay, we have a 78 increase on the spending on sick leave, okay? It means you have a company and all the employees have their leaves, their absences, they're becoming ill and so on. So this data is increasing in the last years, okay? We have another data in this. In the last years, a 62% of increase in the direct cost for the companies in this type of illness or leaves or absences. And in the same years, we have now a rate of 53 casualties for each 1,000 of workers, okay? It's the highest rate in the last years, so we have a problem. And this problem was also on Bridgestone, okay? Bridgestone has lots of factories around the world, as you may know, but in the case of Bilbao, they have a big factory in there, and in terms of legality and so on, they have to have a medical department in order to make analysis to their employees, okay? So they had a doctor, a single doctor, okay, making all the analysis, the medical analysis to all the employees, and taking these results in a PDF, in a Word, and so on, and entering these results in a SQL server or in an Excel, manually, okay? This is the first step that we want to help the doctor, okay? After that, the doctor analyzes this data and make their own conclusions based on that, okay? So Bridgestone had lots of problems with their employees in terms of absences, leaves. Imagine that you have a factory that they are working with lots of chemical products. So you have lots of environmental diseases, okay? So they need to prevent or to anticipate this kind of problems in order to improve their productivity, improve their revenue, okay? So we talked to them, and it was a year ago, more or less, and they told us to try to do an AI project in order to prevent this kind of problems. That's why algorithmia was in there, okay? And we made 3 projects in one. The first one was to automatize the input or the entering results in the database, okay? This was done using document intelligence. I don't know if you know this type of tool. It's using Azure OpenAI or OCR. So you give the PDFs, the documents to an artificial intelligence, and it extracts all the information of these documents and creates the rows or the registers wherever you want, okay? These projects improves the productivity of the doctor because the doctor can dedicate its time to another kind of tasks, okay? Once you have the data in this database, you can predict, okay? You can launch a machine learning model using this data and the possible diseases that the workers will have based on the real diseases, okay, to make a predictive model. And after that, you can anticipate based on the future results of the medical analysis. I'm not a person related to a GPD department and so on, but there's a lot of problems with GPD in this case because you cannot share the medical analysis to everyone or something like that. So I think that the most difficult part here was to mask the results. Once the medical analysis were entered in the database, the name, the surname, the identification number and so on were eliminated, okay? So you only have an ID that only the doctor knows, okay? So here you have an schema of how have we done this type of project, okay? First of all, we have the analysis of the people and another information of the employees that are not in the analysis. For example, the area where they come from, the age, I don't know, another information that maybe it's important or not, okay? So here, there's a lot of data engineer task in order to evaluate this data and the precision of this data. After that, we're doing a machine learning model to predict this data. It is a so complex task to do because not all the fields that you have in a medical analysis have relation with the problem that you will predict. I don't know an example now, but okay, all of you have read a medical analysis, okay? And after that, you need to predict these problems, okay? So in terms of how we have done that, you have 2 possibilities, and we have done the 2 of them. You can, imagine that you are the doctor, you can ask for a person in particular, okay? But if you are a human resource department, you can ask about a group of people because you don't have access to the person in particular, okay? And how is it done? This is done using an agent, okay? A copilot, using tools, okay? Connected with the machine learning model, the data stored after the prediction, and so on. So you have 2 roles here, the role of the doctor and the role of the human resource department, okay? You have a chat interface where you can ask about questions, about problems, about data of the employees. And the copilot, the agent, is looking for the information in the database and giving you the answers, okay? Well, it worked, yes, okay? Bridgestone achieved a reduction of sick leave, okay? So, for example, if the prediction model tells us about 2 leaves in the next month, maybe Bridgestone wants to hire 2 more people just in case, okay? Or maybe they want to do an additional medical analysis in order to know the reason of the problem, okay? You have to think not only in terms of the company, but in terms of the people. You are helping your company and helping your people, because the people will have a better health because you are anticipating these problems, okay? It's a prediction, so it will be wrong sometimes, okay? It improves the decision making because you know a prediction of how will it affect to your productivity, to your production, and so on. And in terms of your employees, there's more awareness about how I am working in the company. Because if I have a prediction that I will be sick the next month, there's something that I am not doing well, perhaps, okay? So this is a project that we have done with Bridgestone. It's not a project related to the activity that Bridgestone does, because they are doing tires, but we are helping to do more tires, okay? So this is a question for you. Can you imagine knowing the risk of medical leave in each team before the next quarter? Maybe it's interesting to know, okay? This is the first case that I will present you. I don't know if I have time for the second. Okay, so I have time, you have a surprise. Think about that you have a doctor in the company. So yeah. It's because you are a large company. So you have to have mandatory medical department.
Hello. Okay. My second question is, how are you sure that your Copilot AI is responsible of the decrease of medical leave?
Well, we are not sure.
Did you try, for example, it's just a stupid idea I have, but maybe, did you try to ask your AI tool to give false results? So maybe the HR will just try to take consider of false data, and maybe you will have the same improvement on the company. Did you think about it, or just?
Yeah, you have to think about one thing. This project was made after the COVID. So many of the information that we had was corrupted. Okay, so every day it passes, you have more information and you predict better. So at the same time that you are predicting better, you have to be careful with the data that is not correct. For example, the COVID. Okay, so it's not, I have done the project, here you have the project, and I will go, okay? You have to be in charge of this data forever. I think that are 5 years.
You took 5 years of medical history? Okay.
5 real.
5?
Real years.
Real years, okay.
So 2 of them are of COVID, so 7 years.
Okay. Okay. You exclude the 2 years COVID. Okay. Vous avez d'autres questions sur cette partie-là avant qu'on attaque un autre cas? Je pense que c'est bon. Ouais. What means ORP in your acronym? ORP? ORP? Just for my... It's more the medical staff?
No.
No?
It's the planification team.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let you know.
Okay, so another real case that we had, okay, it was about a support agent related to a multinational company, okay. It is a company that is around the world. It has around 60 countries, okay, and they had a problem, okay. The problem is that they had around 5,000 issues per month, okay, related to my computer doesn't work, I don't know, my chair is broken, I cannot access the ERP or the CRM or so on. So 5,000 tickets per month, okay? So they had 5 people just dedicated to dispatch those tickets, okay? So they had a real problem, okay? So we were talking to them, we were doing a project with them about the ERP, finance and operations, and so on, okay? But sometimes when you are doing another project with your customers, appears another project that is not related to the first one, okay? So they asked us to find a way to improve this kind of problems, okay? So we thought about an agent, a chatbot, a copilot, that does one simple thing. Talk with the user, ask questions, get information from the user, and create an Azure DevOps, okay? I don't know if you know what is Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps is a task planning program, okay, in order to have the project tasks here, the issues. It's similar to a ServiceNow or a Jira, okay? So what we have done here is 4 steps. The first step is to have an interface for the user to talk to the agent or the copilot. It can be used in a Power App, in a Teams, in a web, or wherever you want, okay? And the copilot or the agent talks with the user in order to get all the information that it thinks that is important to solve the issue, okay? In terms of agents and so on, the agent has a prompt in order to know which users it has to be involved, okay? The second step is that the bot analyzes this information, summarizes this information, get the insights of the information that was given by the user, okay? And it extracts all the information that is important to create an Azure DevOps. It means the area, the person that will be assigned to the ticket, the title, the description, the reproducing steps, the priority, and so on, only based on the input from the user. You know the users. Maybe a user is entering the agent, I have an error, okay? You don't know which is the error, so the copilot will ask the user for the error, for a screenshot, for an attachment of the PDF, for example, okay? So once the bot has all the information, it creates the ticket, okay? Here you have an example that it's not important, the information that is here, okay? But here you have an example of a conversation with a chatbot. I think that here we have a video. Not important, the content of the chat, okay? And you can see that the user is entering information and the chatbot is answering and making questions in order to get all the useful information from the user, okay? Once the information is complete and the bot realizes that there's a lot of information to create the ticket, maybe I can go to the end. here you have the item created. Here you will have to click on create, but if I click on create, I created a ticket on the customer portal. So I will have a call from the customer, so I didn't click the button, okay? So here are the results for this project, okay? The 5 people that are dedicated to all the tickets and so on, okay, they are dedicating their time to learn, to help the others, to make another task that the bot cannot do. For example, to repair a computer, to install something, some wires and so on. So we have improved their time, okay? We have lots of documentation now because all of the problems from the user are in Azure DevOps. All the problems with all the information, all the data, all the solution there. So we have improved at 100% of the quality of the documentation. Now they don't have any unassigned tickets because all of the tickets are assigned to the people, to the correct people. So they need to solve that. And another one that is the most important one is the 80% of user satisfaction, okay? Because before that bot, people send emails, call the support team and so on, and maybe they don't get the correct answer from them, okay? So now they are just talking to a bot and they will receive the solution for sure, okay? So what's next here? Maybe we can add this bot a generative AI in order to get the solution from the tickets that are created earlier in the Azure DevOps. So it can learn more and more every day, okay? We can make predictive analysis. Maybe each February in the year, there are lots of problems related to the same thing. Maybe we can predict that, okay? And another thing that can we do for them is to make a business intelligence dashboards and so on to get the insights of the support tickets on how much time will be resolved, for example, okay? So it was the second real case, okay? So any questions?
I have one.
Oh?
Do you systematically create a ticket, or the agent can give the solution before creating a ticket?
Sometimes the agent gives the solution.
Give the solution, okay.
Yeah, but sometimes the agent gives you a wrong solution. For example, I don't have internet connection. Yeah. The agent answers you, okay, disconnect the router and connect it again. If you are in the office, you cannot do that. So the agent has a prompt to not do destructive solutions or something like that. But sometimes it helps you.
It helps, okay. On va le mettre en place dans notre support client et notre TMA, ça c'est intéressant. Est-ce que vous avez des questions avant de faire une pause? Ah, pardon. On enchaîne. Pardon. Merci beaucoup.